What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope you guys are staying safe. Your health is good. Miss seeing you guys. This is definitely an interesting time that we're facing right now, and we're just all trying to make the best of it and get through the sickness, get through all the questions, and maybe for some of you guys, some fear if you've had loved ones or friends or anybody you know affected by this virus. So I'm praying for you guys. I miss you guys. Wish we were sitting in class right now, but obviously we have to do what we got to do to get through this time and make the best of it. So going to start off this online learning, going over some financial planning stuff. So far in class, we've gone over the career, what it looks like to identify a career that maybe we're interested in, see what it takes to get information about that career. We finished up the last 9 weeks with the job interview, writing resumes, cover letters. So basically, the end process of getting the job that we want, hopefully in the career that we desire. So we're going to transition this 9 weeks, last 9 weeks, into financial planning, understanding some practical ways that we can utilize our finances. I found this online curriculum, so to speak, on practical money skills, as you can see here on the screen. So we're going to go through several lessons, hopefully to get you guys some information into financial planning, hopefully get you guys to understand some life skills in how to, wisely use the money that hopefully you're going to be making in the career that you chose. So that's what we're going to be gearing towards as we start this 9 weeks and obviously start this online learning. So we can see here that as we get going into financial planning, lesson 1 here is going to be going over making decisions. So once we start working, once we start getting some money in our pockets, what decisions do we need to make, and how can we make the best decisions to spend the money that we have wisely. I think I'd be remiss to point out that we need to keep in mind, just as our careers, God has gifted us with special talents that he wants us to utilize in our careers. You guys did some spiritual tests to figure out what you're spiritually gifted in. Hopefully you can use that to figure out what career maybe best suits your spiritual gifts. But when we look at financial planning, we obviously have to remember that God is blessed us with this money that we're making once we find a career or a job. Maybe it's babysitting right now for some of you guys. Maybe it's mowing lawns, doing chores around the house. It doesn't necessarily have to be a career, especially for you guys at this point in your life. But you guys are probably making money somehow, getting money, earning money, and that's a gift from God. So number one, He wants us to steward that well, and basically what that means is to spend that money wisely. I can tell you from experience, there's times I don't do that. the best. There's times that I selfishly spend money on things I probably really don't need. And I'm sure you guys are in the same boat. So we have to obviously keep that in mind when we're talking about making decisions. How can we steward the money that God is giving us wisely? How can we not spend it on foolish things? And that's going to come down to what we're going to talk about today in identifying and making the best decisions with our money. Okay, so that's lesson 1 here. So making decisions, you can read here the overview and what this lesson's going to be about. We are faced with many decisions on a daily basis. You can see here, some decisions are simple. What should I wear? What should I eat today? Again, those are important. What should I eat? Do I, go out and eat Chick-fil-A or McDonald's every day? Or should I maybe eat, more healthy? Okay, so that's an important decision. But some decisions are more complex. Should I buy a new or should I buy a used car? That's going to be an important decision. There's a lot of factors that go into that. Obviously, a newer car is going to be more reliable, less money, but it's probably going to, less problems, but it's probably going to cost you more money than a used car. But is the used car going to be more reliable? Okay, so that's an important decision that you're going to have to make, or that you may have to make. So again, these decision-making skills are used and improved. So this could enhance your quality of life. Wiser choices, as you can see, could result in better use of time, money, and other resources. So this lesson is going to give you guys an opportunity to learn more about decision making. It starts with what we're going to see here as some of our objectives, but it's also going to dive in a little bit to how the economy influences our decision making. Interest rates, inflation, unemployment, so on and so forth. And obviously this is a good lesson for the time that we're in. Your parents, maybe even you, are going to be making decisions based on what's going on now. Do I spend money on a trip? Do I, spend money on, things that maybe I probably should wait on, especially, knowing that we're not going to be able to go out and about. Maybe work hours could be cut, so I might not have as much money to spend. So these times are going to be important, especially now, for asking this question and deciding and making good decisions with our finances. So you can read through that. But our goal here is to provide an understanding, awareness of the factors that can influence decisions, introduce basic decision-making methodologies, and provide structured practice in analyzing a problem, identifying the options we have, and then obviously making a wise decision. So you can see here the lesson objectives. We have to first identify the decisions that we have to make. Identify the steps in the decision-making process that are going to help us to make better decisions. Identify and explain factors that can affect the decision-making process, and give examples of the decisions that have been influenced by one or more of these factors. Identify and explain frequently used decision-making strategies and examples of when these have been used. Analyze influences of economic condition on personal and financial decisions. So again, times like this when we're kind of at a crisis and the economy is a little bit frail. Identify risks and opportunity, costs associated with personal and financial decisions, and then practice making decisions using a decision-making diagram. Okay, so that's going to be our objectives, and ultimately our goal is to identify the decisions that we have to make, whether they be personal or financial, work through that process, identify the factors that help us or are going to affect us in that decision-making process, and then ultimately make a good decision using the decision-making process and by identifying the risks and the opportunities associated with that decision. All right, so probably going to have to break this up into multiple videos. So first off, I'm going to go through this PowerPoint, hopefully make it a little bit quicker. I do only have a certain time frame with recording here, so I want to make sure that I don't run out of time. So when we make decisions, here's the decision-making process, the steps. First, we have to identify the problem, okay? We have to gather information and list possible alternatives. So we want to gather the information necessary, to the problem that we're facing and list some alternatives. Okay, what are some other things that maybe we need to decide on? We need to consider the consequences of each alternative, and then select the best course of action. So that's going to be obviously making the best decision for us. And then once we get through that, we're going to evaluate the results. I will post this PowerPoint on Canvas so you guys can go back to it. But here are some factors that can influence your decisions. Your values, so what's important to your family, others in your culture, your peers, what habits do you have, what feelings are you feeling as you're making or trying to decide on making the decision. Again, your family, risks and consequences, and then your age. Obviously, some of you guys, your age can be a factor, whether or not you can or can't do something or when you're making the decision. Okay, so these are some of the factors that you're going to face when trying to make a decision. Okay. Here are some common strategies when making a decision. Spontaneity, maybe choosing the first option that comes to mind, giving it little or no consideration to the consequences of choice. Okay, so this is, you see something, you like it, you say to yourself, I have to have it, and you give very little other consideration to the consequences that might happen or play out by making this decision. Okay, so can be a good thing, but also obviously can be a bad thing, all right, if you make the wrong decision. You make a decision based on compliance, procrastination, agonizing. Maybe you make a decision, when things seem overwhelming, you just make a knee-jerk reaction decision. What is your intention, your desire, avoidance, security, and synthesis, choosing the option that has a good chance for you to succeed and you like the best. Okay, so these are some common strategies that are used in the decision-making process.